So I think there's been a fantastic achievement, and what is that? Even though nothing I say is financial advice, the Internet Computer Today recently posted how they basically used Caffeine AI version 3 to kind of create this open world game, which I find to be very impressive. And I'll show like a snippet of it on the screen. And as you can probably tell, it looks kind of realistic. Like you can see the grass, you can kind of see some of the leaves in the trees in the background. You can see the clouds, kind of the sky. And it just kind of looks pretty cool, in my opinion, because a lot of games within this space, usually it's very pixelated. It looks like something made around 25 years ago or something like that. But when it comes to this right here, I just don't see that. It doesn't get me off that vibe. I think this, if anything, showcases the capabilities of something like Caffeine AI, which again recently did become version 3. However, let's also keep in mind, I think this, if anything, might highlight the capabilities again of what this could maybe be moving forward, because if it's already doing this type of stuff right now, what could it do maybe years down the line? So again, I just find this to be pretty impressive overall, and I think it showcases the various use cases for Caffeine AI. Now, granted though, people like to tell me, but no one really cares about a self-running apps platform like that. Who wants to use AI to help build apps? Well, maybe not everyone might care, but I'm pretty sure some might care, and we've already seen some activity when it comes to Caffeine AI, so it's not that bad. Now, people like to say, well, why hasn't anything that's been built using Caffeine AI become mainstream yet? Well, my kind of response is that things like that may take quite a while. Like, for instance, if I'm an artist and I'm painting and stuff like that, it's not like usually I just become automatically popular just within a couple of weeks or something. Usually it takes trial and error. Usually it takes time to kind of become relevant. That's usually kind of the norm. So when it comes to Caffeine AI, it just launched like very recently, by the way. Now, people might think that it's been around for a very, very long time because they're already at version 3, but that's actually not true. Caffeine AI didn't launch that long ago. And already having version 3 actually is a testament to the team, I think, at Dfinity, and showcases the dedication and effort that they're putting in, because if they didn't do that, there wouldn't be a version 3 this quick. Other projects out there, version 3, good luck. They probably wouldn't do that. For some other projects out there, not for every single one, but I'm saying I've seen some other projects out there release something and then that's it. They just don't care anymore. They just do it for fun or for the sake of it or just to create attention, but it just doesn't give me off that vibe here. However, people like to tell me sometimes, well, can't this other project just make a version of that? Well, true. I mean, in theory, they could do that. It's like, for instance, did Toyota invent cars? I don't think so, but they're making cars. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if others are also making a similar concept to Caffeine AI, that Dfinity is kind of cooked or something. I don't necessarily agree with that. If anything, that brings healthy competition, because now, if there are a lot of competitors, what that does is that it puts the ball into Dfinity's court, right, where they have to kind of level up, where they have to make improvements. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's good competition. It's like, for instance, we see Toyota, we see something like Rivian, for instance. Why not? If they compete, one has to step up their game, the other one has to as well. So I don't view it as a bad thing. If anything, they're more incentivized to actually update it, to upgrade it, to actually improve it. So I don't view it as a bad thing. If anything, if there is more competition, I think it's better, right? Instead of it just being the only thing out there and then nothing else that's really out there, then sometimes we could see some projects out there become a little bit lazy. But if there is a lot of competition, sometimes it kind of creates an environment where it becomes a lot more competitive, in a good way, of course, in a way where they're actually motivated to improve it. So I don't view it as a bad thing. So when people like to ask me, do I find it concerning if there are other projects out there that make a similar version to Caffeine AI, let's say? No, I don't find it concerning, because if they do pretty good, that, if anything, just creates an environment where Dfinity just wants to do better. So I don't view it, again, as a negative thing. I actually view it as a positive thing either way. Now, ICP, still around $2.50, not necessarily doing the best, but you know what? I'm still believing in this. I haven't given up. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but when I take a look at this right here, also this game that was made, people like to say, well, is it going to become the next Spider-Man or the next Batman? I would assume probably not, yeah. I think that's like a pretty logical assumption, but at the same time, it's a thought that counts. I mean, it showcases that there is at least that hypothetical possibility. Now, keep in mind as well, when it comes to Caffeine AI, allegedly, when it comes to what I've seen in regard to a recent update they posted, they were talking about already seeing over 42,000 remixes when it comes to apps in the app market, basically, in regard to Caffeine AI. And we have to think about this, like, what is a remix? Now, if I just kind of want to make this in simple terms, it's like, for instance, let's say I built something using Caffeine AI and then it's on the market, right? And then someone maybe sees it, maybe they feel like they could improve it, they try to remix it and try to maybe add their own flavor, or maybe try to, I guess, tune it or maybe improve it, something like that. It's like when we remix a song or something like that, right? When we see some artists do that. So it's kind of like that. But again, seeing over 42,000 remixes in terms of the app market, April 2026, that's what they posted, by the way. But I think that's really impressive. I mean, it showcases that there's still some activity when it comes to that. Again, a lot of people like to tell me that, well, it didn't see mass adoption. Well, yeah, I mean, that clearly is not an indicator of mass adoption over 42,000 remixes. But I think, again, it showcases decent activity given a time when the market isn't doing the best. Because let's think about this. Even though a lot of people like to tell me, well, a lot of these people that are building stuff using Caffeine AI, they're not quote unquote actual developers. Some people like to tell me that. And in a sense, I could kind of see where they're coming from, because if, let's say, I want to build something using that and then I just type up, oh, create, let's say, something that tracks my agenda or something, maybe it could try to do that for me, but I'm not a developer in a sense, right? I'm not an actual developer in that way. So I get it when people like to say, well, it doesn't count sometimes. However, isn't that kind of the core principle of Caffeine AI, making the creation of, let's say, apps and stuff like that just a lot easier and a lot more digestible as opposed to before? Because before, people would have to kind of know a certain programming language, they'd have to spend a lot of time. Sometimes it's a team. It's just a very laborious process in some cases, very time consuming, very kind of resource intensive. But this one kind of changes it. Isn't that kind of the core principle, though, of something like Caffeine AI? So if we consider that intent from Dfinity to make the application making process a lot easier, they've succeeded in that objective so far, in my opinion. So when people like to say, well, it's not actual developers, well, I think if people do actually say that, it showcases how Dfinity did do what they set out to do, which is make things a lot easier in terms of making apps. So again, I don't really see it as a bad thing. I think if anything, it's a net positive, seeing how Dfinity kind of succeeded a little bit in terms of their objective, even though we have not seen mass adoption. But so far, in terms of the core principle of Caffeine AI, I think it's pretty awesome, because again, even someone like me could make something out of it, which I think is really cool. Before, I probably wouldn't be able to do that. But I'm still here patiently waiting, so we'll wait and see what happens. But in the meantime, though, I just thought that recent update when it comes to ICP was really cool. And seeing, again, just the capabilities of it, even in the case of games, I find that really impressive, actually. And I think, if anything, it showcases the diversity of something like Caffeine AI. So, yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. And I want to say thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.